service leaders, Dr. Lakela Kaunda. See, I'm nervous. Can we try that round of applause again? So the facilitator for the session will be Mr. Emmanuel Chauke. And I feel he is one of the most luckiest people because for the next 1 hour and 30 minutes, he's actually living one of the items on my bucket list. So I'll hand over to him.
Thank you, Kiriboni. Good morning, colleagues. Special welcome to all of you. Also a special welcome to the acting principal and the leaders of our organization. It is indeed a privilege. I'm lucky indeed, Kiriboni, to be interviewing Dr. Lakela Kaunda this morning. Dr. Kaunda, we are glad, we are privileged that you could make time to come and converse with us this morning. We know that it's precious time out of your very busy schedule, but we are indeed happy that you could make time. Colleagues, NSG colleagues are here in the room, and moreover, we have colleagues tuning in virtually and others watching on YouTube. So indeed, our conversation with you has been a much anticipated event. We are grateful that you could make time. There's a saying, it goes, knowledge is like a baobab tree. No one person can embrace it, even with both arms. So being the baobab tree that you are, we have come in our numbers that we could embrace you because we know that a few of us wouldn't do justice in absorbing the knowledge that will be coming out of you this morning. Dr. Kaunda, many of us know you as Dr. Lakela Kaunda, the bureaucrat. Your public image is that of somebody who has been profoundly shaped by the public service. But we do not know much about you as a person and would really like you to kindly allow us into your personal space and introduce us to Lakela Kaunda, the person, the social being, particularly your interests, your early days, the journey that you have traversed to become the person that you are today.
Morning. Morning, everyone. I'm glad the acting principal is here because she then gives me proof that one can survive this. Ne? She's proof. Yes, and then who am I? Okay, I was born, I'm from KZN. I'm from Hambanati, a township called Hambanati. Otongati. We are very happy that we've got our name back because if you go to the map, it would say Tongat. So all along it was Tongat. Now it's been corrected to Otongati, even everywhere, which is good, which means the name means something because of us. So we are proud of the name of our town. It's something because of us, the residents. So I grew up there, went to school there, finished. And then I'm a journalist by training. People would have noticed that I'm very curious. I like news. I'm noisy on social media. That's because of my background. When I finished matric, I went to study journalism. I did a BGen at Rhodes. And then I went to work. I worked as a journalist for many years, first for 10 years at the Natal Witness. It was a difficult time, you know, being a journalist during the apartheid era and also during violence in KZN. So I was young, like you are 19 years old. The first story I had to do, for example, very young and scared, I was sent to interview the mother of someone who had been hanged, Machina. He had been hanged here in Pretoria. And then the editor says, go and talk to his mother. I mean, I'm only 19. You go there to this mother, son is hanged. She can't even bury the son because they're not giving bodies. So that's how I grew up. You have to ask Mama, how do you feel? You know? I mean, you know how she feels. So I worked there many years, tripping over dead bodies. It was horrible. So today means a lot for me when we celebrate 30 years of our constitution. It reminds me, it was difficult. As a journalist then, for example, to write a story, someone is dead, has been killed by the police, but we have to phone Pretoria to check. They must confirm before you publish. You know, the family is there. So it says to me, what a wonderful day. Now press freedom is embedded in the constitution. And then I studied further. I was more from journalism to politics because I was a political reporter. So I did a BA honors in politics, took a sabbatical to the London School of Economics for a year, where I did my IR, international relations. Yeah. Then I did, it's been politics throughout. My master's is in South African politics and political economy until now that I did my doctorate at UT in public affairs. So I've studied a lot in the Eastern Cape because at UPE Rhodes. So that's who I am. And then it was natural for me to then go to the public service after that because I used to run as a journalist. On Thursdays, we used to run an advice office. I loved doing that. People would come and say, we've been evicted. Farm workers, we've been evicted. So I enjoyed harassing Amabunu to get them back. So, so for me, that was public service. I would spend the whole day dealing with those stories, dealing with complaints of people. That's who I am. What do I like? As I say, I love news. I'm forever on social media, tracking, sharing what's happening. I love music. I love music. I'm on Spotify. When I start the car, that is why I harass colleagues. You know, when we have an event, when we ask, when the DJ, DJ, can I give you my Spotify? You know, because I know what's trending. I know what they should be playing, you know. Yes, sometimes my kids say I know music more than them. So that's it. I love music. I love my family. You know, I'm a grandma. My mom is still alive, which is wonderful.
Wow.
She's 85, very fresh. She wakes up, cleans her home, she runs her home.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful. I lost my father sadly in 1995. But I said, at least he got to vote. He got his citizenship and dignity back. Yes, that's the long and short.
You've come full circle. Seemingly you have had quite an adventurous launch into your career, your working life. Coming into the public service, did you foresee yourself joining the public service? Is it not perhaps a career that slows you down compared to how you started in your life?
No, I actually, I think it was, when did I join the public service? Probably 96. So this is my 7th administration. I've gone through all of them. 96. For me, it was a natural progression because what I had been fighting for had been achieved. I now wanted to be part of transformation, shaping South Africa, building the South Africa that I wanted. So I joined first in the province. I joined the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Tourism as a spokesperson and PRO. To the MEC, then you won't believe it. He was once an MEC. He was President Zuma. He was MEC then. So I started out in the province. And then later, no, that was 95. Yes. So it was still in the same field because I was a communicator. There was a spokesperson. So still working with the journalists. So I enjoyed doing that. And then later moved to Pretoria at the DOC. We were the first people who opened that nice building there, Iparioli Office Park, where the Department of Communications, it was still the Department of Post, Telecommunications and Broadcasting. So I was part of changing the image, change the name, change the logo and everything, the corporate identity of that department to its new name. So yes, it was wonderful. And Minister Jay Naidu, quite an entertaining minister. He hated, you know, when we have a press conference with him, he hated empty spaces. He would say, like Jay, when he comes, he would say, close, close. So we would close where we find us, but he was a hardworking minister. It was lovely working with him. Yes.
Awesome.
And then the media bug beat me again. 97, I went back to journalism, went to PE. I became first deputy editor and then editor of a newspaper there, the Evening Post. It was quite nice for me because I was the first woman to edit a daily newspaper.
Oh.
And that year was a good year for women in the media because also Paula Frey was appointed editor of the Saturday Star, Ferial Hafeji, editor of Financial Mail. So each time we meet each other, we say, hey, we were the first, we were pioneers. women in the media. And then 2000, then I came back to the public service, to the presidency, office of the deputy president. Yeah, as head of communication and spokesperson. So I was there for a long time.
Yeah.
From 2000 until 2020. With breaks in between, yeah.
Awesome, awesome.
Yes.
You are arguably one of the most accomplished and consequential public service leaders in this country. And having held the position of COO in the presidency, one would say that you were at the apex experience of what we refer to as the administrative political interface. How does it feel to hold a position that is so significant for the trajectory of a country?
It was quite an honor. You know, it's a mammoth task. And the president is the apex office in the land. So you have that advantage because you're sitting, in fact, literally it's at the hill, as if it's there for people who sit there to then look what is happening in other departments. So for me, that was the advantage. And also being, especially when I was now, because I started nicely with the deputy president's office and then the president's office. We used to call ourselves memory sticks, and also you become the memory stick of the president because you must remind him, and also you must be the alarm clock. You are the person who must alert the head of state because they are as good as the people around them. The president can be so out of touch. I mean, they don't watch what's on social media. They may not watch the news. So your job is to check what's happening around. Where are the gaps? Get him to intervene, you know, so that they always say the presidency is also the barometer and the temperature of the country, you see. So that, for me, that was the most important aspect. Plus also serving in cabinet, because I was sitting in cabinet all along. So you are part of the policy making process. You are able to give guidance, but also you learn. You learn a lot. There's a lot that happens there. The decisions that are taken, whether it's appointments, whether it's new legislation, you must advise. A file comes, the president is very busy. He's not going to read 30 pages. Ne? So you must read. Any mistakes he makes really reflects on you. At times, it looks like a small mistake, but it can affect the country. I remember one mistake that I always say, we could have done better, where the president was going to appoint either a judge or the chief justice, I don't remember now, but an email was supposed to be, letters were supposed to be sent to leaders of political parties because the law says he must consult them. So it was a deadline for consultation. So you go there, you leave the official senior secretary, please email these letters to all leaders of political parties because you think your instruction will be taken. You come back the following day, you see in the media, Zuma has not consulted. You know, Haibo, didn't you? No, I didn't have a toner, I didn't have this. Oh, so you see a small mistake there affects the whole country. A small mistake. You forget the deadline for the submission of declaration of interest for the president. It becomes breaking news. So that's another thing that the threshold of error. So you have to be perfect. So for me, that was a very, and also when you see something happening, you are able to make an impact in people's lives. Like there's a disaster in a particular area. That's the most important thing to say. How then do I manage, especially diary management. How do I manage the diary of the president so that it impacts on people's lives? There's a community that is suffering. President, let's go there. No matter how busy, you drag him there. Let's go there. Let's talk to the people. It means a lot to people. So you have a lot of power, really, which you must use very wisely and very constructively, because it can change people's lives, but it can destroy people's lives too if you advise them wrongly. You don't have to go there. So it's the highest office in the land. It comes with a lot of responsibility to people around the head of state.
Yeah.
But it's quite an honor.
So you were always on your toes. I can imagine.
Always, and,
Yeah.
and you don't sleep. Eh? You don't sleep when whether there is a sauna. Like I always said to myself, I must have written more than 1,000 speeches, speech writing and all of that. So, but you must just always await those phone calls. People will call. That's the downside.
Yes.
That you lose your life because you'll get phone calls at 2 a.m. in the morning, at 1 a.m. But again, you know that whatever it is people are phoning about, if you resolve it, you make someone happy. And beyond happiness, you have an impact to change the lives of the people through managing one person. As a COO, you manage both the president, deputy president, ministers, because COO, just to explain quickly, the presidency has two, you can say it has two DGs, so to speak. It was started during the time of Frank Chikane, Reverend Frank Chikane. They realized that the weight is too much on the DG. So you have a DG who then who is the head of the presidency, but he has so much work because the entire cabinet process, Fossard is on him, Chancellor of the National Orders. There's way too much work on the shoulders of the DG. So the DG and the president is freed from administrative responsibilities. So the COO is the head of administration and is the accounting officer of the president, so that the DG is able to focus on other things. Yeah.
Right.
It's quite a privilege.
I know that you have shared quite a number of scenarios in related to that particular experience in the presidency. But what for you stands out as the most complex event or scenario that you had to navigate, and how did you handle the pressure that came with that?
There are so many, but one that stands out for me is Marikana. The Marikana massacre. We were flying, literally we took off, we were going to Mozambique to a SADC summit. It's not far, it's what, 30 minutes or so. You know, a lot can happen in 30 minutes. We left South Africa, everything was fine. As we landed, our phones were screaming. The police have killed 30 people. What? 30 people, you know? So we couldn't stay, so we have to say, President, let's sit. What do we do? So he attended, I think there was a session starting that day, he attends, and then we have to go there and say, President, we can't stay here. We really must go home. You know, he says, hey, but heads of state are going to say they have crises, you know, others have so many worse crises. I said, no, but this is South Africa. The lives of the people matter. Let's go home. So we left either the same day or first thing, I think actually we had arrived in the morning. We went back the same day and we didn't come here. We went straight to Rustenburg. We landed there. It was in the evening. It was scary. So we started with a briefing from the police. It was still General Piecha. We get a briefing. They tell us people died. This is how they died. It was absolutely shocking. Then we said, no, we called him, Baba, let's go to the hospital. Let's go and see them. We went to the hospital to see the survivors. It was very strange. They were, let alone that people were injured, they were scared. It's like someone had said, don't say a word. So we're looking at people who are just not saying anything. How did it? No, nobody's saying anything. Do you remember anything? No, nothing. You know, but and then the complexity of it as well is 23 people have died, shot by the police, state brutality. But then you must balance it with 10 families, because 10 others had been killed by the workers previously. So as government, we must say it's horrible the police have killed this, but we can't also forget that 10 other people have been killed, security guards. So it was extremely difficult to manage that situation. We went back, I think a week later, because the workers were having a meeting. It was the scariest visit. I think the president didn't say so, but we could say that for the first time now he was shaken. You go to address angry people. They are angry, they are hurt, they are showing him bullet casing because we went to the hill. So for me, Marikana was traumatic. It was difficult to manage. It was because again, as I said, everybody was scared. You struggle to get information. The police, in fact, they had told us half the story. I think they told us 18 people. Initially, we were told 18 people had died. You go there, it's no, it's more. So Marikana, there were many others, but Marikana stands out as the difficult.
Dr. Kaunda, in the past few years, the NSG has rebranded itself. And with that, we have gained much ground, I must say, in terms of the role we play and the influence we have. I could mention a number of milestones, the introduction of an impressive team of fellows, which we have, the enrollment of political and traditional leaders in some of our programs, the convening of masterclasses with global reach and appeal, and the centrality of the NSG in championing the national framework into the professionalization of the public sector. Now, as a leader with a bird-eye view and perspective on governance, what else can be done to ensure that the School of Government optimally fulfills its potential in the country?
Yes, indeed, we've done very well. And I think what we've achieved more than anything in the past 5 years is to put the NSG at the center of governance. You know, because it was always a peripheral department. I think we can credit the former principal for that. That aggressive marketing of the NSG has helped a lot, because people would say, I now work at the NSG. What is that? What is that? Now people want to work at the NSG. They want to work here. So it makes us very proud. So I think we've achieved a lot. And also they say marketing and communication are useless if the product is weak.
Yeah.
Because the spin, people believe the spin for a while and then they say, so it's good that we've worked very hard to improve the product. So all these new courses that the NSG has introduced, whether it's women in leadership, whether it's inductions, but also our youth programs, there's so much that we are doing, which makes people say, we now know the NSG exists, but let us go there, because they must go beyond knowing us. So we must still do more to get more and more people to say, I could have done this there, but let me do it at the NSG. So now, since we are venturing into our next phase, which is qualifications.
Yes.
So I think that's where we should invest even more, work harder, all of us, to make sure it becomes a reality. Because we want to say to people, you can now have a diploma from the NSG. So we need to promote the brand even stronger, to say you can be proud to have your NQF6 from the NSG, as it will be as good as having it from UJ or wherever.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. And what is it that you are hearing in terms of the review of the work that we are doing? Is there any positive feedback that you're getting?
Yes.
Out there?
Oh, yes, there's a lot. There's a lot of positive feedback. People, as I say, we were so people know governance departments are COCTA, DPSA, you know. NSG, what is that? You know? So it's very, very good. I think also programs like Lakela have helped in the sense that people are forced to know the NSG as well. They have no choice. If they want to rise, they must know us. So the feedback is very good. Yeah.
Impressive. I know that all of the NSG's courses and programs are off the chart. But are there specific programs which have caught your attention lately? Which ones are those? Yeah.
As I've mentioned, we can take Lakela lightly, but it's one of our most important programs because it helps us to spread the government message even to people who are not in the public service. So if you have applied for a post, you must do Lakela.
Yeah.
Even if you are not going to be shortlisted. So we are able to, it's a captive audience. So I think it's a very important program for government because we are able to, it teaches people what government is, how it works, even if they end up not working in the public service, but we have spread the message. So for me, Lakela is important. The women in leadership one is important because we are trying to grow the crop of women leaders. There are too few women DDGs, women DGs, so the NSG is contributing to build the confidence, build the capacity of women. That's very, very important. But my favorite one, my pet ones are the youth programs. BB2E. I think always around June, I'm always harassing Dr. Easy for an article on BB2E because it's so important for us to prepare the next crop. I mean, people like me are on the way out.
Yes.
To prepare the next crop of public servants. Teach them how government works, because government is not an easy animal, how government works, and make the public service a career of choice. So that when they are interns here, we don't want our interns to then go and work in the private sector. They must stay here. And also for me, I'm so much into public sector. Our frontline service program, I love it so much because I think that's still the weakest point in government, where public servants, we say Batupile, but they don't really understand how important Batupile is. It shouldn't be a slogan. Batupile is about we making people happy. We serving South Africa in such that when they leave a government department, they feel fulfilled, they feel assisted. Absolutely. So I think that NSG program needs to be marketed even further than we are doing right now.
And on the note of youth, so 2026 marks 50 years since the 1976 youth uprising in Soweto. And as we prepare for the Jubilee commemoration, what are your thoughts on how far we have come in advancing the ideals of that generation? And do you think we are on course? Are we on track?
Politically, yes, we are on course. I mean, like, as we say today, we are marking our constitution. There are certain things that we take for granted, which they fought for equality. They wanted to be equal citizens in the land of their birth. We are all equal citizens. We vote, we take a vote lightly because we are angry. It is the most important instrument because it gives you that opportunity to say, I want to be led by so and so. So we all vote. We have a constitution that also is unique because it enshrines our rights. There's a Bill of Rights. As government, we sometimes get irritated, because we have a constitution that says to people, they have a right to water. They have a right to electricity. So those things become a problem for government, but it is what people were struggling for. It's what they were fighting for, and it's what we as public servants should provide. So in that sense, I would say we have moved a great deal. I mean, there was a time, some of you were still young. Do you know that when I started working, if I wanted to stay in town, like I've come from Tongat, I must live in Pietermaritzburg, I couldn't get a flat in town unless there was a white colleague who was willing to take out the lease. You have to find a white person to take out the lease for you. The lease is John Smith, but Lakela Kaunda stays there. That's where we come from. To go to Rhodes University, I was told you can only go to Rhodes to do courses that are not offered in Black universities at the time. And at the time, it was pharmacy, journalism, there was quite a few. So I would say we've achieved something. You can study anywhere you want. Where we still must go further, obviously, is economic freedom. Because we are saying we have but why do we still find that the ownership of the economy, the ownership of the means of production is still in the hands of white people? That is known. Even the management and control of the economy, we see our EE stats from the Department of Labor, also the BE Commission. It just shocks you every year, the statistics. It will say 60% of the CEOs in the country are still white and male, white males, whether it's also boards. So we have failed our youth in that sense, the 1976 generation. Some of them are still alive. They failed themselves too, because they are turning 50 this year.
Yeah.
So they must also, all of us must still work harder to achieve that, because we can't be saying, no, we're happy because we have our political freedom. But when we, and also economic freedom, not being tenderpreneurship.
Yeah.
There was a time when government introduced the Black Industrialist Program. The reason was, we were saying, the president at the time was that, in fact, how that Black Industrialist Program came about, by the way, it was at a meeting of the Black Business Council in Sandton. And then a thought came to the president's mind to say, all of you here are business people, ne? But you mustn't be business people of briefcases, because you own shares here, you got a tender there. Where are your factories? You must own factories. So that's how that's the economy we want, owning the means of production. Let us not own the tender that produces this. We must also own the factory that produces this. Yeah. So that is where we must still go further.
Yes. And how would you say we are doing in terms of addressing that particular issue of the secondary sector of the economy, establishing factories, manufacturing facilities? Do you think we're on track as a country? Are we lagging behind? Is there any hope?
We are not on track. The DTI, our neighbors, are trying, because, as I say, that Black Industrialist Program still exists, but they still need to do more to promote it, get people to, we are scared of taking risks, get young people to take that risk, take that loan from the IDC and open a factory that that builds furniture.
Absolutely.
So we still need to do more.
Yes.
I think where we must also improve as government, for example, is focus on one program, all of us, and move with it. This thing of every year we want new announcements and so on is wrong. So we don't take things to completion. Wonderful, we're gonna have our Black Industrialist Program. Wow. The following year, there's not even something that says so many Black industrialists now exist. If they don't, what are we going to do? So I think that's the weakness of the PR pressure. What else? I mean, I worked on 9 saunas. You always want to say, hey, what's new? So with hindsight, now I want to say there was no need to make new announcements every year.
Yes.
We needed to do a review in the sauna.
Yeah.
This is how far we've gone. This is what we're going to do to take those programs further. So now I think that is a weakness, new programs every year, you say 10-point plan, 9-point plan. Every administration comes up with its own. We had Askisa, we have Vulindlela. So that is our weakness of wanting to produce a new program, something new all the time, dump it the following year.
Yeah. And yet failing to keep the momentum. Yeah. The South African youth question has become imperative for all of society, including the NSG, particularly given the dire circumstances of youth unemployment and exclusion. I would argue that the NSG is indicating intent in contributing to the much needed solution on that score. But what strategic interventions could best assist the NSG in addressing these issues?
If you're reminding me of what we were trying to do, was it 2 years ago, where we were asking ourselves, what else can we do as the NSG? Because we are restricted in the sense that we can only focus on young people that we train.
Yes.
That we train. So we said, how else can we impact? So we wanted to use the program. I think we're working with SCMC, FO is not here. That social, every department, which is weird for the public service, these social responsibility programs, where we were told the AG, at some point we must report on what have we achieved out there. So we have not done well there as the NSG. So I think we must now start moving out of this building, via our cadets program. Like go to Soshanguve, have a group of 200 people, 200 young people who are unemployed.
Yes.
Take the BB2E program to them and not focus only on interns who are already in the system. Take it there, teach them personal mastery. Take other people with them how to write your CV. The NSG can do that.
Yes.
How to make your CV able to market you. I helped one young person to rewrite his CV because I read, I said, I wouldn't shortlist you when, you know, when he showed me his CV, I rewrote it for him. I feel so good because last night, that I did that like 2 months ago. He says to me, hey, I'm so happy. I've actually went to write 2 competency tests. I don't know whether they will hire me, but I said, that's a step. It means now your CV is able to say to the shortlisting panel, let me look at this person, you see? So I think we should look at that to say how, and it's good that we can report on it. But the challenge is, I think we must report on how much money we have spent on it.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. How much money have we spent on it? We must invest more in that. We've done, I think we did bring some young people here.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, so that for me, we must invest in young people beyond interns.
Absolutely. I know that you have met a lot of people in your line of work, very important people, I must say. But I'm sure there's still somebody that you would aspire to meet and have lunch with, or even breakfast with. Who would that be?
You know, and you're asking me at the right time because I'm currently working on a paper on, as I was talking about women, on tracing the voices of women as thought leaders in the SONA, you know, in the State of the Nation address. So I've been reading all 30 SONAs from 94 to 2024. Oh. What I'm doing, I'm tracing how women are featured in the SONA. I'm a culprit, as I said, I wrote 9 SONAs. So I'm a culprit in terms of stifling the voices of women. So I'm checking how all these presidents have featured women. Are they quoting women as thought leaders?
Yes.
Or so the sonas I'm reading show thus far in my paper that women are featured as guests, like, oh, we are happy today. We have Mama Sophie DeBray, and it's 50 years of the, or 70 years of the march to the Union Building. But it's not, the president is not in any speech saying, in 1956, Mayor Sophie DeBray said, end quote. Nabo Mama Albertina, over the years, you see them say, oh, we are happy today with Mama Albertina. So women are featured as widows, as mothers of people, as wives of people. So that's my paper, and I'm almost done with the paper. So because I've been reading, I've been reading speeches of Mama Winnie, all the women. So the woman I really would love to sit down with is Mama Nonsigele Lobiko. I really would love to sit down with her because she has just been Steve Bigo's wife. Steve Bigo's wife. So I want to say to her, Mama, what happened? Because my political consciousness as a child came after being shown a drum. My standard 3 or 4 teacher made us queue in class. She was showing us pictures of drum of Steve Biko lying in a coffin. It was a very progressive teacher. She explained this man to us. I was a kid, maybe I was 8 years old. So I want to sit down with this, Mama. I saw Baba Steve. What have you been doing? Because he's doing a lot of community work there in Ginsberg, in the Eastern Cape. Nobody covers it. Nobody cares. She doesn't exist. She's a widow. So I would like to have lunch with Mama Nonsigele Lobiko.
Awesome. I think the Zulus say indlela ibuzwa kuba phambili, if I'm correct, if I'm quoting it correctly. What would you say to a young person who is entering the public service for the first time, beginning a new journey in the public service?
Okay, I would tell them they have made the right choice because it is such a powerful position in society, which they don't realize. Even as a level 5 entry level, it's extremely powerful. You are a clerk, you are an admin officer at Home Affairs. You have the power to change someone's life. You also have a power to destroy someone's life. So they must know the power they hold. And they must make sure that they use it wisely to build, to make people happy. I want them to have all our young people to please ensure that when someone leaves your desk, they are smiling. People must bump into, why are you smiling? Hey, I'm still thinking of so and so, hey, we are Zuvus, you know? So that's I'm picking on you, Vusi. So that's what they should do, which means then the brain must be a problem-solving brain.
Yeah.
When I'll pick on Home Affairs again, when someone walks in, a young person walks in and say, I can't write matric, my parents died, I don't have an ID, I need an ID. As an admin officer at Home Affairs, don't say, I get sorry. So I can't give an ID. Your parents must be, someone must buy. What if you are what if you are a foreigner? You know, I can't give you an ID. Next. So let us let us not be the next public servant. Hey, I'm the next.
Yeah.
Don't be the next public servant. Think, use your brain, say, okay, Togo, is there no mfundisi who baptized you? Yes, there is. Okay. Go to that reverend, get him to do an affidavit to say he baptized you when you were 6 years old. He can vouch that you were born in South Africa. He baptized you when you were a baby. Are there no mamas who were friends with your mother? Get them to also do affidavits. You know, then that person will get an ID. There are so many people sitting around saying, I can't work. I don't have an ID. My parents died. Home Affairs is refusing. And that's because of public servants who don't want to think. That's why I'm so passionate about our frontline service course, because it must teach those types of public servants, not the next, you know. And also you want to go, and also you go to the clinic, you want to go to hospital, very ill. They say, okay, you go to Eddington in Durban.
Yes.
Eddington, uhlalapi or Tongat, you are from Tongat. Why did you pass Osindisweni? Why are you here? Your hospital is Osindisweni. Go to Osindisweni, you know? So please, that's my message. Be a compassionate, caring public servant, problem-solving public servant, a very humble public servant. You are nothing without the public.
Yes.
Be humble, so that then we'll build the public service that we dream.
Fortunately, Dr. Kaunda, we have Ovusi here who brings smiles. And one of them, I think colleagues would agree, Uthabo Ngwenya. I hear a lot of retirees raving about him. Yeah, they love him. So he's doing a sterling job. Dr.
They
Kaunda.
say they get their pensions. They phone and say, hi man, I got my pension. And that's a day after retiring.
I think that deserves an applause. Yeah.
Yes, and then it makes me smile the whole day. Wow, my team. Yes.
Dr. Kaunda, I cannot thank you enough for making time to have a conversation with us, sharing your knowledge, pearls of wisdom. I think we are better off. All of us are better off from that. Indeed, we managed to come together as the NSG with all our arms, embrace the baobab, and we are grateful for sharing yourself with us this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we have come to the end of our conversation. Okay, I think we had not planned for questions, but I think we can make space for that. That we David, we can assist us with.
Morning once more, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And this is a phase where we take our Q&A. Let me see if there's any questions that will, we have this side, we have Dr. Easy, we have Bongani, as well as Petronia. Is there any other questions? All right, let's give it in that order.
Right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, David. Good morning, Dr. Kaunda. Thank you very much for agreeing, to be on the hot seat and justice here. So, Doc, my question is, you were at the union building for a number of years. You held a very senior executive, serious position. When we speak to colleagues that worked with you, and I say, no, I work with Dr. Kaunda. They, yo, how is she? I said, she's okay. He said, no, because you were so feared at the union building. People knew you as this person who was a no-nonsense taker. You were known as someone, Kasisotu would say, that's the kind of leader that you were known for at the union building. Then you came to the NSG, this small department that nobody knows, and you are quietly in your own corner. How did you manage that transition, from being at the apex of your career, running the #1 office, and then now having to come into the NSG quietly so, and you're always smiling. But yet on the other side, people knew you as someone who always banged her fist on the desk, not literally, but, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David, and thank you, DDG. I would like to assume that you are the one who chose the preamble to be printed and distributed. Are you not the one?
Chose the preamble.
No, you are the one who chose to have the preamble of our constitution printed and distributed. I would like to assume so. And if yes, that was very purposeful, because when you read this preamble, which was drafted in 1994 and adopted in 1996, line by line, it speaks to the very fabric of our society. I would like to check with you, how far do you think we have gone to realize this preamble? 3 lines strike me here. It's the one that about, we need to honor those who have fought for justice and freedom in our land, which is about redress. Then the second line is that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, because that addresses our diversity. And the one that I think, I'm very passionate about is to build a united and democratic South Africa that is able to take its rightful place in the family of nations as a sovereign state. And I think we see progress in that, very incredible progress that we're making in the ICJ and other avenues to position South Africa. And then it ends by extracts from our national anthem, which I believe that if it doesn't raise goosebumps on you when it is sung, then you truly do not understand the meaning of our national anthem, because it speaks about our past, it speaks about our present, and the future that we yearn for as citizens. So just to check with you, in your assessment, how far do you think we have gone in addressing the dictates of this preamble? Thank you.
Mama, thank you so much for a very beautiful discussion. I actually just made a comment, and this is just to check with you, because the NSG has done well with training, but time and again we are receiving a scrutiny in terms of training resulting into behavioral change. So from where you are seated and with your background
very rich background. How then do you think NSG can bring into perspective of their trainings to ensure behavioral change in the public service so that we are able to answer well to the bigger office? Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, difficult question, Dr. Easy. No, the transition itself was very easy. I'm sure people can realize I'm a very ordinary, simple person, really. I fit anywhere. You can take me to a Maskandi festival right now. I will be so comfortable, you know. I fit everywhere. So the transition for me was easy. And also very nice. I always look at the crisis and I say, wow, I don't have anything to do with it, you know. I don't have to do anything about it. So where the joke about, you know, when you work with a president, people, they start assuming, you know, they start assuming even decisions are yours. I'm telling you, there are ministers who were reshuffled to this day. They say, Lakela wangosha. Who am I? You know, who am I? So that's the disadvantage of working. So most of the things are people is perceptions of people. But where I was, if they say I'm a no-nonsense person, my mind, especially when I see a crisis, I don't like this thing of let it flow. Let it flow. So I would harass people. I would really mobilize. Let me make an example of what I would be doing right now. Right now, there are marches about illegal migration, right? So immediately, I would have said, let us have a common set of, I would have harassed Isaias and give me give me key messages on this. Ne? Key messages on this. Everybody must speak from the same script. South Africans are not xenophobic. We have a problem with illegal migration in this country. There are people who come here that we do not know. They have no fingerprints. They commit crime. We can't find them. We can't arrest them. And it is a problem that every country in the world will not agree to. There is no country that allows illegal migrants. It's such a simple message. Ne? When Ghana says we're taking you to the AU, it's because we are not communicating with Ghana. Would you allow us to bring 20,000 South Africans there? They just come in, no paperwork. But we become, so what I didn't like is the paralysis. So when you work with the president, he's busy. So your role is to say, President, there's a problem here. Your diary permits, may we convene the security class, can we convene Minister so and so, so and so, and so and so, and that other minister to come here, already have key messages, give them tasks. Ne? They must make sure there must be clear communication sent to every embassy in the country. We mustn't be defensive. You know, defensive, like, hi, we are not xenophobic. Hi, Ghana. No, you say to Ghana, we are doing exactly what you wouldn't allow in your own country. So, but we mustn't give an impression. All we can say, therefore, is, however, we will not allow, I think the minister in the presidency, at least that message came out, we are allowed to march, but we do not allow criminality. So far, nobody has been killed during these marches. We tolerate them because we are used to marches in South Africa. But you see footage that says, like the Nigerian parliament is going to send MPs here because we are killing Nigerians. So those are the kinds of things I would deal with when they say, hey, Lakela, because you know what I would have done? I would have called our ambassador already in Nigeria. I mean, I never used to. Ambassador, what are you saying to those people, Gant? Why are they saying we are killing people? Nobody has been killed yet. And also, Ambassador, are you not informing them that our issue is the drugs in Sunnyside? At Point Road, we don't hate Nigerians. We are saying Nigeria, work with us. Even the Nigerian ambassador called a press conference. You call, is it Dirk? I would say, Dirk, why are you allowing that ambassador to mislead the country? Call him in, tell him to work with us. We want that ambassador to issue a call to Nigerians in South Africa, because what they are doing now, they are all issuing messages, all Basutu, please stay indoors, avoid the protests. Negana, stay indoors, avoid, like we are being branded as wild animals that will kill Ghanaians. So you say, no, 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 our message. So that's why people are saying, hey, because I would say, no, 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 what are you doing? I would phone people, just have a list of mine. So they always ask, but hey, are you harassing people at the NSG? Nah, people at the NSG, there's nothing to harass them about. So that's why they say that. Because if I was agitated last night, you must say, why is there no script? And one script for the country. Every minister must say the same thing. Everybody. So I was happy yesterday because I saw the mayor of eThekwini met with March and March, because I said, you don't push people away. They will make noise against you outside. Bring them in, work with them. So he held a meeting with the March and March. They've agreed to work together to educate South Africa. But the problem also is South Africans. That's another message that must go out. Why are you renting out your spaza shop? Because they were allowed to register spaza shops. They registered them on behalf of foreign nationals. So that message must also go out. South Africans, play your part. Don't hand out these spaza shops to foreign nationals. Don't hire, so for me, that's where it comes from. Because I wouldn't. Even Marikana, as soon as we arrived home, I said, okay, IMC, I think of a list, which ministries do we need here? You immediately combine those ministers, check the diary. You are meeting minister so and so, so and so, so and so. They must go to Marikana. So you don't allow a problem to fester. This toleration of problems. It will pass. No, deal with it. Lead. So basically, lead. So that's where, in fact, okay, I'm running a protocol. Please come 2nd of June, this room. That's where I'm going to start harassing you. That's where the reason I'm running is because I want to start harassing you guys. We get rid of the chaos, So those are the sorts of things. You arrive 1 hour before. I walked in with Bongani because I was ailing. No, I'm not ailing. I was trained to arrive 1 hour before at events, so that anything you don't like, you have enough time to correct. If you arrive 1 hour, if you are an organizer, obviously you arrive 3 hours before, 2 hours before. You don't push chairs with guests.
Yeah.
You see? So those are the types of things then I used to insist on, to say, I want a plan for everything. If it's a press conference, I want a plan. Who will speak, when, to who, why, who will sit next to who. No room for error, no room for confusion, no room. I think that's where Dr. Mata and I fight, because I say, I want to know where he says, nah, we don't like, be orderly. As a people, we must know where EMC will sit, not because EMC is high and mighty. Anyone who walks in from another department can see you are an orderly department. You are an orderly. Oh, their EMCs decide. If I'm a DG from Home Affairs, I'm gonna go and sit there. So it's that avoidance of chaos. Me and chaos don't mix. Yeah. And then back to Bongani's question. Yes, we're doing it. We're doing well. In fact, today, the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development has requested all government departments to do what we've just done, to recite the preamble, to stand, recite. So all government departments are doing what we did to mark 30 years of the Constitution of our country. We've done a lot, I think, as a country, especially to deal with the matters that are in the preamble, united in our diversity. However, I think a lot has been done, but more can still be done. I think we are not understanding the importance of the Department of Arts and Culture in South Africa. It's always been treated as a, like, yeah, as a department that you dump anything you don't like. It's not an important, it's the most important department. It's the soul of the nation. That's where the heritage is. That's where you must promote unity and diversity. So there are many, like you had programs like the Moral Regeneration Movement, which which resides at Arts and Culture. I don't even know now who's the chairperson or the champion. So those departments, so we haven't done well in it, was they're supposed to promote positive values, respect for the next person, values at school. Our children must know at an early age. Well, that's where you start teaching the ethics. In fact, I forgot to mention one of our most important programs, ethics in the public service. That's where the arts and culture department should be ensuring, working with basic education to teach our children ethics. It mustn't start with the NSG. Public servants must be taught at school the right and wrong. What's right, what's wrong, what's ethical, what's unethical. So we haven't done well there. So a lot must be done. And also, you know, we knew what we were striving towards in 1994. Ne? It was called a National Democratic Society. A National Democratic Society is a South Africa that is united, non-racial, non-sexist, ne? Prosperous. So we are still chasing prosperity. United, we may be regressing. You know, I cringe. We are regressing a little bit. You know, you get terminology that we thought we had gotten rid of. It's creeping back. People use the word tribe on social media. From 94, we said we are ethnic groups because we know tribe has negative connotations. It was used by the apartheid regime to divide us, but you are tribes. You, this tribe, you belong in KwaZulu, this tribe, we are ethnic groups. So we are regressing a little bit. I don't know, because when there are socio-economic problems in any society, but the people retreat to the lager. Let me retreat to the people that speak isiZulu like me. You start checking out. The NSG is not appointing enough Zulus, you know. So that means we need to watch. We need to watch that. And as the NSG, we're at a vantage point on that messaging in our training courses to remind people that please, we are still one united nation. There's one nation in South Africa, the South African nation. The minute you say the Xhosa nation, you are wrong. The Zulu nation is the Zulu people.
Yes.
The Xhosa people who are part of the South African nation.
Yes.
So there on the preamble side, we must work. We must work again. We have not, we are losing it a little bit. We are losing it a little bit. Ne? Behavioral change in the public service. Yes, we really have. And I know when we do our impact study, we're always in trouble. It's how do you measure? How do you measure? I mean, legal NSG must now, it must impact, but we can impact on those that we reach in terms of messaging. Back to my favorite one on Batupil, on frontline service care. If that cause of us, after this, I really want to see the curricula. If we massify it and produce, like, for example, I was looking at the Road Traffic Management Corporation. They were telling me last year that they called someone, I won't mention his name, but he's a celebrity, to run a course on customer care for them. I said, hi man, we have a course at the NSG. So if we then massify our program, talk to people like the RTMC, who have massive call centers, and make sure we train all the staff in the call centers of government. We can have you can see the behavioral change in the public service, because now you'll have someone at a SASSA call center who won't just be flippant and rude, you know, to someone who's calling. You'll have someone at a municipal call center. Someone is called to say, hey, my bill is 144,000. This bill, and it's my mother. My mother is 85 years old. There's no way. She doesn't have a swimming pool. She can't. I get pay. There's nothing we can do. Go and check. Are you not wasting water? Is there a leak? There's nothing we can do. Find a way to pay. Yeah, well, You don't do it like that. This is a real problem. So sometimes you find a public servant, like I called eThekwini municipality. I said, wow, because my mother really had a bill of 144,000. So I was so like, I find, and I don't even know call center. She says to me, Mama, you know what? There's actually water. Check your bill. Your bill has something called water levy, water levy, and that is insurance for water leaks. So she gives me the email address and the form. She says, go to the website, download the form. I downloaded the form. Turns out you can apply for insurance to cover this money. We applied it to, it's a West Colsam insurance company. And indeed, they didn't pay the whole amount, but they paid 90,000 of the bill. So I said, but why are they not communicating this widely? So 90,000 was paid, and thereafter, again, same municipality, I call again, why haven't you paid the whole amount? But no, when we looked at your bill before and after, it looked like you guys, there's really water wastage there, even before the leak. Yeah, so I asked my mom, when's it? Turns out, when there's no, we have a Jojo Tech, Ma takes a pipe and she fills our Jojo Tech. I hope she's not listening. She's not listening. She fills the Jojo Tech with municipal water. So that's why the bill is so high, even before the leak. Yeah. So I called them again. And then she says to me, no, there's a campaign that we're going to start. They were going to have a campaign, the mayor's campaign early this year, where if you pay half of your bill, they write off the half. And indeed, I paid half, they wrote off. So right now, the bill is gone. So that's behavior change that we can achieve in other call center agents. So I think that's where we should work, just to make sure we amplify the training of our public sector. For me, we do beautiful causes at the NSG, but I think those that will impact on your ordinary people, we must really push those causes even more. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kaunda. What a wonderful insight. Can someone help me, I think, with one or two questions on the chat? Okay. I think myself as well, I'm close to the youth of the 1976. I can't see properly. Let me read the two questions on the chat. How will one get to register for a diploma on NSG, and which courses are covered under this diploma? Number two, doctor said if one has applied for a post, must do a Lakela course, but ain't Lakela course for senior management only, not lower level. Is there anyone who will want to try from one of our faculties? Okay. The third one reads as follows. I've heard you discuss your experience living under oppression and how challenging that period was. What advice would you give to the young generation of today who have not experienced the challenges faced by the youth of 1976 and now live in the democratic society where people are free to express their opinion without judgment? Additionally, reflecting on your journey as a Deputy Director General, will you describe it as a difficult or easy? Let me afford you, ma'am, that first one first before we take the other two.
Yes, we are in the process, I said, of moving to, of developing qualifications. What was the cause again? The important thing is once we have achieved all our accreditation, we'll have a massive communication campaign. We will communicate to the public that these are the diplomas that have been approved. This is what you can apply for. It even includes a diploma in African governance that we are doing with an organization called AMDIN, which is an umbrella body of all institutions, management training institutions in the African continent. So please, very, very soon, you will be informed with regards to which courses are now final and you can apply for. And Nyukela, we are also, yes, it's for senior management. There will be a Nyukela, there's work that is being done currently to introduce Nyukela at the middle management level for middle managers for DDs. So that also, once it is finalized, it will be communicated. But seeing that there is an interest, we're even thinking that eventually there must be, in fact, because what we're doing now with breaking barriers to entry, it's not a competency test or course, but it does prepare people for the public service, which is what Nyukela seems to do. So there will be a Nyukela at a middle management level very soon. It's still being developed. And then my experiences living under pressure. Yes, it was a challenging period. Yes, the younger generation, I would say, please appreciate the South Africa you live in. It does have problems, especially socio-economic problems. There's a lot of poverty. South Africans, one thing we have realized is South Africans love their country. South Africans are neat people. You know what drives them mad is when they move around in the flats and they see clothes hanging out of windows. That's why they fight. So let us appreciate and love our country and then see ways in which we can contribute. Never allow, I listen to radio stations where people just make blanket statements that say nothing has been achieved. You know, on Freedom Day, on April 27, it's supposed to be a day that deals with this question that is being asked, where we look back on where we were and then appreciate. It's not a sauna day, it's not an assessment, but in this country, it's treated as a day of assessment of South Africa. You know, it becomes, no, other countries don't do that. It becomes a celebration. This is where we were, we are happy, we are free. We can use the sauna and other activities then to challenge with government. We haven't achieved this, we haven't achieved that. It's not the day. So I think we've achieved a lot. So, because especially for us who knew what it was, as I said, you couldn't work. Race determined where you could work, where you could play, where you could live, you know. In addition to race, your ethnic group, you know, the apartheid regime was very good. They realized that race alone is not enough. They would then even go further to say, Mtswana, no, you can't live here, go and stay in. We didn't have IDs, we had something called a reference books. So what was fascinating for someone like me, they didn't know what to call me, but everybody is Zulu. So my reference book said other Zulu. So I was other Zulu because I was a Kaunda. But hey, what is this one? Okay, other Zulu. So that's how far we have gone. And then they're asking, what does it mean as a DDG in the public service? You know, being a member of EXCO, it bears such a lot of responsibilities because your role is to lead an organization, lead it to the future. So for me, it's quite exciting because we have an opportunity to shape not only your own department, but to shape the direction of the public service as a whole, because you participate in those activities. So I want to encourage people in this room, please be ambitious. We love you at the NSG. We're not chasing you away. But if there's an opportunity to grow, even outside of the NSG, grow. Because let me tell you, I've worked in so many departments. I started out at economic affairs, went to DOC. I've worked at social development. I've worked at COCTA, at CPSI, at the presidency. That's how you grow, by moving from department to department. People feel if you say, why don't you've been an admin officer for 10 years now. Grow, go elsewhere. It's not a crime when someone says that. They're saying grow. In fact, we have a responsibility to help you grow. If you want to come to me and say, I've been going to, can you help me shape my CV? That's our role as executive managers, because we are also coaches. We must coach, we must be career coaches coach you to grow. And we're coaching you to grow not only at the NSG, in the public service as a whole, because there's one public service. This new law is now, the PAMA is wonderful because it talks about one public service with the, so even local government, you can now take a transfer from the NSG to Tshwane municipality. In the past, you couldn't. Very soon, when the law is proclaimed, you'll be able to do that. So use it to grow. I know it's nice to sit in one place. It's very nice. It's comfortable. But you can come back as a director here in 5-6 years if you move out. You go and become an ASD there, DD there, and come back. So don't be scared to explore. That's how you will grow. That's my message.
Thank you very much for all the questions. That's how far we'll go. Let me hand it over to our luckiest presenter today, Emmanuel, to wrap up the show for us.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much, David, colleagues, and colleagues also tuning in on YouTube and on Teams. We have officially come to the end of the program. It's been a privilege once more, Dr. Kaunda, to have you. Thank you very much. I think it was a wonderful exchange, wouldn't you say? Yes, so let's give it a round of applause. Yeah, so on that end, we have come to the end of the program. Thank you very much.